So this is a mini course on student motivation, particularly the student motivation that has to do with valuing a thing, valuing a class, valuing a type of work, saying this matters to me, this is important, this is fun, this is interesting, this is cool. This is the thing that we're trying to cultivate, to create in our classrooms, and this course is going to try to help us to do that. But there are so many things you can learn about in education today. Things like artificial intelligence, evaluation systems, assessment, feedback, visible learning, project-based learning, individualized learning, differentiation, cognitive sciences. So many different things that you can learn about. Why should we care about student motivation? Why should we give it our finite, precious, finite time, energy, and attention? Well, colleague, I'm going to give you 3 reasons. And these 3 reasons are really important. Reason number 1 is that student demotivation is experienced as pain. When a student doesn't have the value belief and they're sitting in my class or they're sitting in yours and they're saying to you, or their body posture is saying to you, this is stupid, this is pointless, this is a waste of my time, no good, that is a student who is experiencing pain, deep soul level pain. No human being wants to be demotivated. And by the way, that's really good news. That means that your student, your most demotivated student, I'm picturing some of my students right now, doesn't actually want to be demotivated. If they could be, they would be students who say that school is meaningful, important, beautiful, awesome, neat, interesting, fun, relevant. They would do that if they could do that, but for some reason they can't. So reason number 1 that we should care about student motivation is that student motivation is painful, and student motivation is something that nobody wants. Your student doesn't want it, I don't want it, their parents and guardians don't want it. So that's a pretty good reason to be watching this course, doing this course. Reason number 2 is that you actually can't do school without student motivation. You can't do school without student motivation. Here's what I mean. School is all about helping students to master arts and disciplines and areas of study that apart from school, they'd be unlikely to master. So there are some students maybe who would just, even if they had no school, they would naturally apprentice themselves to the discipline of history, which is one of the classes that I teach. And they would learn lots of history in their life. There's some, but not many. Like way less than 5% would apprentice themselves to mastering history apart from having a school where they had to go and learn how to master history. Okay, same thing with math, science, social studies, art, music, physical education, modern business, personal finance, all the different subjects that we have. Apart from school, students would not be given a regular opportunity to master these things, to grow in mastery of these things. Okay, but the problem is that mastery requires things. Mastery requires things of the person doing the mastering. The person doing the mastering, well, they have to actually do 2 things. They have to do work and they have to do it with care. They've got to do work and they've got to do it with care. This is where student motivation comes in. It turns out that you can actually get someone to do work through coercion. You can give consequences if they don't do the work. You can give little rewards if they do the work. So you can coerce someone into doing work. That's possible. And in a lot of schools, that's what's happening. But that second thing that I mentioned, care, do it with care, that can't be coerced. Human beings get to care about what they will care about. You can't make me care about something that I don't care about. But stay tuned, because the third reason is great. There is something that you can do to get me to care. Okay, but before I get there, let me just say that you, like I said with point number 2 here, school isn't possible. You can't do the thing that school is for, advance the mastery of young people so that they'll be more likely to flourish long term. You can't help young people to master things if those young people don't do work with care. Student motivation is the key to care. So why should we care about the value belief? Because it's fundamental to caring about the work of learning. And now finally, the moment you've all been waiting for, number 3, we should care about student motivation and the value belief because student motivation is malleable. It's influenceable. You and I, we can actually create the conditions in our classrooms, regular looking classrooms like ours. We can create the conditions within which human motivation grows, human care grows, or within which, in my language, 5 key beliefs grow. In the next video, I'm going to share with you a very brief overview of the 5 key beliefs framework for thinking about student motivation. And before you think, okay, great, another framework made by some guy, you're entitled to think that, but this is this way of thinking about student motivation, this 5 key beliefs way of thinking about student motivation, is not the product of a guy just wanting a framework. It's in fact about a guy trying to understand the nature of human motivation in his classroom, reading a lot of research, doing all these things. So we're going to look at, in the next video, the 5 key beliefs that make student motivation happen.